Mercury isn't in Sagittarius anymore, which means I haven't been rooting around for fun facts as much. I don't have anything cool to say today, but it is my birthday week, so it might be nice if you rated the podcast, said something you enjoyed about it, shared it with a friend, or even subscribed so you don't ever miss a forecast. I haven't told you enough lately how grateful I am for you tuning in and for supporting my work in all the ways that you do. If this was 5th grade and I had cupcakes, I would bring them to all of you, but it is not 5th grade and I currently don't have any cupcakes. But what I do have is my eternal thanks, so I just wanted to take this time to say thank you. I've got some good astrological news for the coming week. This is also the forecast for the week of Thanksgiving, which can be important for people who travel or those of you that go see family. Let's get into it and see what the week has for us. Mercury's retrograde is going to make this week feel like absolute molasses. The good news is that we're heading into the third and final week of Mercury's retrograde movement and that it stations direct on Saturday. The annoying news is that a planet is at its perceived slowest right before it stations. This slowdown is bringing an end to Mercury shenanigans, but it's also a critical time of us needing to slow down as well. The time right before a planetary station, retrograde or direct, it's like a release of a bunch of energy that has been slowly building. Tensions within the realm of Scorpio, because that's where Mercury is now, it's back in Scorpio, they're going to break and we'll need to start moving forward again. This isn't going to happen until the very end of the week, so don't jump the gun. Keep allowing yourself to slow down. Keep allowing yourself to rework something within the realm of Scorpio, and then on Saturday, it's going to station direct. Mercury needs to gain planetary speed before things get back to business as usual, and that usually takes a minute, so definitely do not think it's over. Come Saturday, we need to let Mercury warm back up, gain planetary speed, and get moving again. But yes, technically, Mercury's retrograde does end this week. I personally feel like this retrograde went pretty fast. These last 2 weeks have absolutely flown by for me, and I feel like I've been struggling to keep up a little bit. So if you also feel like time has just been weird or like it's been escaping you, you aren't alone. Mercury being back in Scorpio and stationing direct there, that's likely going to bring up themes from the new moon and the Cazimi from last week. It'll be like a nudge to see if we're making good on any intentions that we set, or if we're utilizing the information gleaned from the Cazimi around that time in a useful way. Mercury isn't the only one stationing direct this week. A planet that has been retrograde since July is finally stationing direct as well, and this is none other than Big Daddy Saturn. With both Mercury and Saturn hitting slow points this week, it's gonna feel like a slog. It's the slog before the jog. Before these planets can get back up and running, they need to fully slow down, pivot, and then go in another direction. So again, if you feel like you're treading water this week, it's because both Mercury in Scorpio and Saturn in Pisces are stationing direct, literally treading water. Saturn station officially begins the last leg of the race for my Saturn in Pisces people. From now until February 13th to be exact, Saturn is going to be retracing its final steps in Pisces before it leaves for good and won't be back for another 30-ish years. This Saturn return cycle was important regardless of whether you're in your return or not, because it was allowing us to adjust our settings and regain more stable footing within the realm of Pisces. There were things that needed to be taken more seriously or firmed up within Pisces, and this retrograde hopefully allowed you to see your progress, but also where you could be doing better. My analogy for Saturn in Pisces has been finding the firm spot among the squish. Pisces is squishy, Saturn is not. Saturn in Pisces creates footholds for us to balance on and feel secure while we're exploring the vast squishiness of Pisces. Because Saturn isn't trying to solidify Pisces entirely. It doesn't want to get rid of all the squishiness. It's just trying to create footholds for stability. It's like when you're a kid and you're crossing a stream and you put your foot on a rock and it wobbles and you're like, oh my God, it wobbles. I can't use that one. So you look for another one It wobbles a little bit, but you're like, maybe there's a better one. And then you find one and it finally doesn't move. And you're like, oh, okay, I can take another step across the stream. You use the one that doesn't wobble. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And Saturn is the not wobbly rock in the stream of Pisces. So Saturn in Pisces is helping us create those rocks within the area of our lives that Pisces presides over. And the recent retrograde was our chance to place more footholds, change their placement, or replace them entirely. Hopefully, you've been working on finding some sturdiness among the squish, the less wobbly rocks in the creek, because Saturn is going to ask us to cross the stream soon, and we need to know where to step. Saturn stations direct on Thanksgiving Day, and Mercury stations direct 2 days after on Saturday. The intense slowdown of energy around the holiday means that people need to be super careful with travel. You guys should expect delays, expect to forget something. Just overall, expect a little bit of chaos. I know the holidays bring chaos just in general. People seem to lose their minds. But if you are traveling or seeing family or doing a lot of stuff for the holidays, definitely expect a little more chaos than usual. All this stationing energy hits at the end of the week, and leading up to it, things are mostly quiet. Mercury will be conjunct Venus and trine Jupiter and Saturn early on in the week. Venus will also be trine Jupiter and Saturn then later as well, which this will give us a decently benefic push mentally at the start of the week. Even though Mercury will still be retrograde, it's a chance for us to hone in on the water realms and keep reworking the themes they speak to. We should be tired of reworking the water realms at this point, but it is important that we do it. I always use myself as an example, but let's use Cancer rising instead. My husband is a Cancer rising, and I have a lot of clients that are Cancer risings, so let's go with you guys today. The Mercury-Venus conjunction will be in the 5th house, and the trines from Jupiter and Saturn will be coming from the 1st house and the 9th house. This puts a lot of emphasis on personal growth, exploring creativity or intimacy in new ways, sexuality, leisure, and also your relationship to indulgences and self-expression in general. These early aspects are going to push you to continue thinking about the person you want to be and how you express yourself outwardly based on your personal journey and life experiences over the last few months. Saturn in your 9th house has been forcing you to re-examine your core beliefs, and it's been kind of rigorous with higher educational pursuits or travel or just anything that's been mentally expanding. Mercury has been reworking how you seek pleasure and connect with others, and then it all culminates with Jupiter in your 1st house and taking all that growth and turning it into something outwardly tangible. So that's what I mean when I say that we're getting a benefic push in the water houses. You really need to look at those water houses and see how both Mercury and Saturn's retrogrades have changed, influenced, or what they've uncovered that you now need to integrate and work with as they station and move forward again. And that goes for everybody, not just Cancer risings. If you don't want to figure this out for yourself, you can always subscribe to my zine and read about it in your weekly horoscope. The trine between Jupiter and Saturn that I've been mentioning for the last couple weeks, it's still going strong right now, but the dynamic is about to change since Saturn is stationing direct. Soon they're going to be putting distance between each other, and they'll both be free to live their lives without feeling the push and pull of the other planet's contradictory agenda. But for now, they're still sitting less than 1 degree from each other, and they're kind of tempering the progress within Pisces and Cancer. Once that gap gets bigger, you're going to feel each of their agendas take off a lot more because, again, the Titans won't be tempering each other. One wants to expand, one wants to limit. Once they're no longer fighting against each other and they're separated, they can each expand and limit accordingly. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope it's a lovely time. Remember the reasons why you travel, why you get together, why you take on all the stress of the holidays, because this year is going to have some pent-up planetary energy surrounding the holiday, which can further irritate an already stressful situation. Travel safe, be kind to one another, and when you can't be kind, go to the other room and talk shit with your favorite family member in private. That's a Scorpio Mercury thing to do. Thank you for tuning into this week's forecast. If you want a more detailed look at what this week's astro weather holds for you personally, go to my website, moonmattersastrology.com, and sign up to receive my zine. You can also find me on Patreon by searching for Moon Matters. The best way to keep up to date with my work or to book a reading with me is to sign up for my mailing list on my website. I'll meet you back here next week, but until next time, later days.